So my thing is anything that's status quo is dead, right? If you're not growing, you're dying, right? If you're not growing in wisdom, education, you're regressing, right? So when it comes to money and when it comes to just growth in general, you always want to be creating some momentum to where you're growing, right? And you can't live in that world of scarcity, right? A lot of people, well, I don't want to say a lot of people, but some people live in that area of scarcity, right? I can't do this marketing because, what if it don't work? Then I'll just lose all my money, So when we talk about growth and maintaining, you always need to be growing in some sort of capacity, right? It's important. It's important.
So we can all get comfortable. Let's talk about maintaining, meaning, you start doing a certain amount of deals, or you make a certain amount of money that you're like, never thought, I'd ever make that before, right? Or you buy a certain amount of rentals and it's doing well, and you just start maintaining it, right? So what can we really talk about that that goes into not just maintaining those 5 rentals and multiplying?
So it also goes back to your vision, right? What you see and what your goal was. If your vision was 5 rentals and you reached that goal, and your goal was just, hey, I need an extra $5,000 a month, then you can maintain that, right? But you also want to, and this is just my level of ambition, you also want to reset a goal, right? Okay, I hit that. I made that $5,000 quota, right? Now I want to try and go to 10,000. Now after I hit that 10,000, I want to try and go to 15,000, right? Not to say that that's what you necessarily want to do. If you want to do that, keep progressing. But in the midst of all of that, right? You can't hit that $5,000 goal and then forget that this was a goal, right? You can't live in that gap saying, oh, I hit 5,000, but what I really need is 10,000, right? So now you're not happy with that 5,000 that you made. You look at that 5,000 as, oh, well, this is really nothing. Yeah, I got 5 rentals, but look at Joe over here. He got 25. Look at Susan over there. She got 300 doors, right? And then you start depreciating your own assets in your mind, right? So you always want to continue to grow.
So I think also with maintaining, I think it's probably only good for a certain amount of time, right? Because one, cost of living goes up. I don't know, right? You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of other outside factors around life. If you just try to live off those 5 rentals for the rest of your life, I don't think you're going to maintain that same. You're going to be able to keep up with the economy, right? I don't know.
Right.
I'm just.
But another thing that comes into play, right, is the stewardship aspect of it, right? You can maintain it, and you could be a good steward of that asset.
Okay.
And then because of your great stewardship, knowing, hey, what is my outflows? What is my inflows? How can I reduce energy costs? How can I reduce my insurance? Stuff like that. That stewardship aspect really helps in helping you grow and get further. One of the things that I always look at is, am I a good steward with what God already gave? Right? So am I maximizing what he gave me? If it's these 5 rentals, are these 5 rentals running efficiently, effectively, and being capitalized to the max? If so, and I maintain that, right, that's excellent stewardship. God will put more on top of it.